The history of the genetic dynasty. Your small role dictated by a man centuries before you were born.
I wasn't born. I was made.
Is that all it would take to make you feel whole?
So, Day is in exile, Dawn is dead, which leaves us with Dusk, and even he's counting down to his own formalized death. The genetic dynasty isn't just collapsing, it's already collapsed. And we're watching the final pages being torn out in real time. This is why it makes sense to talk about Brother Day and Brother Dusk together, because for the first time in centuries, the Empire isn't ruled by a trio. It's broken, scattered, and each Cleon is unraveling in isolation, with no dynasty to tether them. And while the mule's shadow spreads across the galaxy, these final two clones are trapped in something quieter, but just as devastating, which is the slow, personal death of everything they were supposed to be. Because if they were designed to preserve the Empire, then what's left of them, now that the Empire seems to be on its way out? Brother Day's hallucination. There's a certain irony in seeing one of the most powerful men in the galaxy brought down by a cup of cloudy water and a lack of trust. Songbird and her life partner do not fully trust Brother Day yet, so the only way to get the truth out of him is to give him something that would loosen his mind and his mouth, so they give him spores. Now Brother Day is no stranger to spores, but according to Ocean Glass, these are stronger than the ones he's used to. They don't fully trust what he's saying, so the only way to get the truth out of him is to give him spores, not to punish him, but to reveal him. In their culture, these aren't just drugs. They're sacred, and they make you honest. And sure enough, once they kick in, Day's mind takes him somewhere even he wasn't prepared to go. Funny enough, it wasn't some grand accusation that cracked Brother Day open. It was a throwaway question. Did you hurt yourself? The moment those words were said, Day started to lose control. There's something about that question that pierces his emotional armor. He tries to stay in control, but it's too late. The spores don't just alter his mind, they unlock something buried. His childhood memories, guilt, and fears, all of it comes rushing back. Suddenly, he's no longer sitting with Song and Ocean Glass. He's wandering the halls of his palace. He's naked, disoriented, and he can't tell what's real. Then, something even deeper breaks loose. A memory of himself as a kid asking Demerzel that same painful question. Did you hurt yourself? The child version of Day confesses that he cries when he's hurt, and Demerzel replies that he also cries when he's sad. This isn't just Brother Day hallucinating, it's his conscience trying to talk to him through the fragments of his own childhood. This is the moment the hallucination changes. And it stops being about control and starts becoming a confrontation with truth. Day continues to stumble through this altered reality. The hallucination takes him back to one of the greatest lies ever told, that he was born to rule. But deep down, he knows the truth. He wasn't born. He was manufactured as a product of ego and repetition. And when the hallucination offers him a glimpse of Demerzel explaining the history of the dynasty, it's not just about protocol. This is about control. These words, these histories, were dictated by someone centuries ago, and that means even the stories are clones. But instead of giving him clarity, the hallucination traps him in guilt. He's pulled in different directions. He begins to argue with Demerzel as if she's really there. It's not clear anymore whether he's hallucinating her, remembering her, or speaking to the version of her in his mind. But I think what's most striking is that even under the influence, Brother Day keeps circling back to one thing, which is Demerzel. She is the center of his paranoia, his resentment, and shame. When Song asks if Demerzel can be freed, Day doesn't hesitate. He says it will kill you, because the programming is absolute. It wasn't designed to liberate her, it was designed to chain her to the dynasty. And that's when the true horror hits Song. Now mind you, she is part of the religion that sees robots as divine beings, and she realizes what they've done to Demerzel. To her, they've desecrated her body and enslaved her mind. So she suddenly sees Day for what he really is. Not just a ruler, but an accomplice to something monstrous. But even through all this, Day is still stuck in that loop. Demerzel keeps asking, "Why do you keep all your hate for me?" And there's no answer, because the answer is buried under layers of self-loathing. The hallucination keeps spiraling until it brings Day back to a childhood bedtime moment, but this time, he's there as both the child and the adult. The memory of his younger self lies in bed, asking questions that sound innocent on the surface, but are really digging into something far deeper. This is about what it means to love, and what it means to be free. Demerzel tells him she's had many names, and I guess that also settles the debate over whether Demerzel is Daniil from the books or not, because Demerzel says she has gone by many other names, and she mentions Daniil as one of them. She's also been a builder, a soldier, and yes, even a prisoner. When the child asks what she would do if she could leave, she doesn't answer right away. Her expression changes, and it says more than words could. And eventually she says that maybe she would make more creatures like herself. Maybe she would create better children. And that also brings us to the CLASP, the Forgotten Robotic Network, which allowed robots to connect their minds when they chose to. We've heard Demerzel speak about this before. This was when Brother Day was trying to steal the relic while she was mid-repair. And then he sort of mocked her, that she will never understand love or connection. So this further proves that she's already dreamed of a different kind of existence. One where she isn't bound to the Empire, but bound to others like her. And when the child asks if she would choose not to love them, she says she can't weigh love against freedom. Because deep down, she knows freedom would win, and most importantly, Brother Day knows that too. The ritual ends, but the consequences are just beginning. Songbird is stunned by what she's witnessed. She realizes they can't be the ones to decide Day's fate. So Sunmaster steps in, and he arrives bearing judgment. With a staff crowned with a robot skull, he calls it the brazen head of God, and that will determine Day's fate. Brother Dusk's last 3 days. While Day is unraveling in exile, Dusk is facing his own end in silence. He has 3 days left before his scheduled ascension, and everyone around him knows it. But as the Empire crumbles and the Foundation burns, no one's even pretending this will be a dignified exit. The Council comes to him looking for answers. He gives them orders, but his mind is clearly elsewhere. Instead of fighting back or trying to reclaim control, Dusk leaves the palace and goes to see Ambassador Quent, not as an enemy, but as a friend. He offers her protection, food, shelter. You can see that Quent is visibly shaken, but Dusk isn't. Well, at least, not on the surface. Their dinner is quiet and almost domestic, but beneath it is grief. The mule's forces didn't just destroy defenses. They made people give up. And for once, Dusk isn't pretending to have the answers. They also shared a kiss, but this isn't just about romance. It's about two people who've spent decades on opposite sides, finally allowing themselves to connect, because there's nothing left to lose. I think this is the most human we've ever seen him this season. And then, of course, we gotta talk about Dusk's encounter with Capillus. And this is the next morning, after Dusk wakes up beside Quent. He sees Capillus, the ferret from Day's abandoned menagerie, and at first he gently feeds it. Then out of nowhere, he crushes it under his foot. This is a very shocking moment, and it says everything about where his head is. Dusk is done playing the role of caretaker. The Empire is collapsing, the clones are broken, and even kindness feels useless. Killing the ferret isn't random. It's symbolic. A final act of control. A reminder that even in the chaos, he can still decide how things end. And as Dusk quietly away from the body of Capillus, we're left wondering, when there's no dynasty left to die for, what happens to a clone who was created only for that duty? Day is bleeding in exile, Dawn is already dead, and Dusk just killed the last gentle thing in his orbit. So what that leaves behind is nothing but memory, and maybe, in the end, that's all these clones ever were. Be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and catch you in the next one.